When did you guys first notice the hazing start at Liberty?
Well, I know for both of us, it was freshman year, but since I was, freshman 2 years before Rex, it was, back in 2021, my freshman year, and it was like first week of practice, first day of practice. And that's when it started, pretty much immediately.
Right. So your freshman year, first week of practice. How
Mhm.
often was it?
Oh, every week, and then it got to the point, like junior year, where it was happening every day.
And for you, Rex, when you got to become a freshman, was it first week kind of like Ryder, same situation?
Um, I remember the hazing happening. I was invited to a wrestling camp in the summer of my,
Freshman.
I think going into my eighth grade year. I was invited to go on that camp, and that's when I first experienced the hazing that was going on in Liberty.
Did it happen to you?
Yes, it did happen to me.
Can you talk me through what you experienced?
Yeah, so my freshman year, I believe it was January, the team was in the Liberty wrestling room, our practice room, getting ready for the duel. And I was on my back, just lying down, resting. I had my hands behind my head like that, lying on the ground. And one of our heavyweights, um, he came over and like sat on my face with his genitalia and his balls all on my face. It was disgusting. And
He had his shorts on.
yeah, but no, it was a singlet.
Still.
It was a singlet.
Oh, singlet.
So yeah, a singlet's like pretty much like underwear. So I could feel everything, if you know what I mean. And my brother was there and pushed him off of me, which was a good thing because who knows what else he would have done. Um, yeah, that was one of the times I experienced hazing.
Did he say why he was doing it?
No, it just happened. Like I didn't ask for it. Like I was always trying to avoid, you know,
Yeah.
being the victim of the hazing. But no, he just literally said nothing and just came over and pretty much he sat on my face. So
Ryder, did you kind of give Rex a heads up? Hey, this is what's going on. Be careful. I mean, I'm sure you said something to him. Yeah.
I talked with him, but it wasn't very like, hey, like be careful, this is what happened, or this is what's going on. It was more of like, hey, just stick close to me, like, I don't want anything to happen to you. It wasn't very specific, um, because it was very normalized, and so I wasn't really trying to be like, okay, yeah, I didn't want it to happen to him, of course, but I mean, it was kind of normal, so I kind of expected something to like happen to either one of us. Um, so yeah, it wasn't. I didn't really talk to him too much about it.
Sure. Ryder, did anything happen to you? Were you hazed?
Oh yeah, yeah, multiple times. Um, the first time I got hazed was, um, it was I think freshman or sophomore. It was after the freshman or sophomore season. I think it was freshman season. We were back in the Liberty wrestling room, because during the season you can't wrestle. It was during COVID and stuff, and you couldn't wrestle in the high school. So during the off season, we went back in the room during the spring, and I was wrestling with this kid. I don't know if I can say his name or not. Okay.
I leave names out.
Okay. And I was in the down position. He was on top of me. He reached over with his hand and grabbed my balls, and genitalia and everything. And I told him, like, what are you doing? Like, get off me. Don't do that. And he laughed, thought he was funny, liked my reaction and stuff. And then the same thing happened. We did a move, rolled back into the same position again, and he shoved his thumb up my butt. I didn't like that either, and I pushed him off me and I said, dude, like, stop. What are you doing? Same thing happened again when we got back in the same position, 30 seconds later. And I got up and I was yelling at him like, dude, stop doing that. I'm going to change partners if you keep doing that. And at that time, it was obviously normalized, like I said before, and none of the coaches cared. One of the coaches, the assistant coach, he said, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And I told him. He said, "Oh, it's fine. Just get back to wrestling." Said the kid's name. Hey, don't do that anymore. And surprisingly enough, it happened again, and that was my first time getting hazed.
Wow. What else did you guys experience and see others experience?
The beginning of my freshman year, so leading up, they were preseason practices. I was a witness to, well, my 8th grade year. Yeah, I can't name names, but one of the wrestlers, male wrestler, about 150, 60 pounds. He was on top of this black girl, and she was probably 90 pounds. He put his knee on the back of her neck and pinned her to the ground and said, "We're gonna reenact George Floyd," which is pretty insane if you think about it. And the coaches were in the room, every single one of the coaches in the room, and they let that happen all the time. Another time is preseason to my freshman year. One of the wrestlers was getting held down by like probably about 5 people. And as he was getting held down, another wrestler pulled his pants down, shorts and underwear, and put his penis and balls in the other kid's mouth, the kid that was getting held down. That was another time. That happened multiple times, so it's kind of hard to like say without names, but pretty much there were other kids that experienced that same thing. And then also there was another time about a couple months later, so around mid-season, one of the kids was getting held down by about 5 or 6 kids, and the perpetrator, he had a broomstick, like a dust like broomstick thing, and he had pulled off the kid's shorts and underwear and put the broomstick, shoved it up his butthole.
Yeah.
So those were probably the craziest things that I've seen, but Ryder can tell you about some of the other ones.
Yeah, I've seen that same stuff. And there was another time where the same kids, they held down this other kid, I guess you could say he's a heavyweight. So it took, 4 or 5 other dudes to hold him down. And the perpetrator pulled down his own pants and underwear and rubbed his genitalia all over the kid's face. And I remember a month or 2 later, we were sitting down hanging out with him, and he told us that he texted the coach saying, like, this hazing needs to stop. And he showed us a photo of the head coach replying to that saying, no, that's what did he say? It was a rite of passage for the kids to do that. And there were multiple other instances of that sort of stuff happening, like all throughout the season.
Who did the hazing target? Was it underclassmen? Did it really matter?
I don't think it didn't really matter, honestly.
Yeah.
And you said adults and coaches were in the room. They knew it was happening.
But only the coaches were in the room because, like, parents and stuff, they weren't allowed in the room during the practice times, and they even put like a piece of like a picture or something to cover the windows of the room so no one could look in, which they've now removed. But yeah.
Right. Gotcha. And again, did you ever hear why this was happening?
The coaches said it was the part of the Liberty culture.
Yeah, they said it was Red Dot Nation. and they said this was so freshman year. I know Rex heard this too when he came in the room a couple years later. But my freshman year, an instance happened where this kid was groped, and the perpetrators put their genitalia all over him. And my older brother went to the coach and said, "Hey, like, what is going on? This shouldn't be happening." And
Right.
the coach got everyone together and said, "Listen, this is a part of Red Dot Nation. This is our culture. If you can't handle being hazed, you need to get the bleep out of our room." And I was like, "What? Like, is this supposed to be happening?" And so all throughout the next couple of years, it was normal.
Right. What is Red Dot Nation?
It's an acronym. Basically, it means like responsibility, education, determination,
Got
dedication,
it.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, How did you how did you guys handle seeing what you were seeing and what was happening to you?
Mm,
It was hard because, you have a love for like the sport, a love for wrestling, and that's what, keeps you going. And so weighing out um your love for the sport and seeing that, like seeing the hazing, having the hazing happen to you it's really hard. And it's impossible to like pretty much go through that without anything like, like mentally like sticking with you, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And there were times where Rex and I just sat in the car before practice, like halfway joking, halfway serious, like, I wonder what we're gonna see today. And then we're just like, what are we doing? Like, this is so stupid. We come here to wrestle. We don't come here to see this. And for it to be allowed is just really depressing.
So what was your breaking point? When did you say, you know what, enough is enough and we need to say something and do more than, go to the police, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I initially we brought some stuff to our parents in like the preseason or like just as the season started in November.
because the coaches weren't doing anything about it.
Coaches weren't doing anything about it. Went to our parents, and they talked to the coach about they called it the penetration pole. The coach even named it that too. And so when my parents brought it up to the coach, he said, "Oh, the penetration pole. What's that?" And then like the next practice, he talked to the whole team, and said, "Hey, no more penetration pole. We can't do that, or else we're not gonna be able to travel and go out of state and stuff." And a couple months later, not that specific thing kept happening, but other stuff like teabagging and other stuff kept happening. And I was like, no one's gonna believe me, even if I told them this was happening. And even if I did tell someone, like these kids were very violent kids that were doing this, the sexual hazing. Um, and they threatened to beat me up before and other kids up who've like recorded other stuff and told other people about it. So I was pretty afraid, and I'm a lightweight wrestler. I can handle my own, but not against all these other kids, right? And so January rolls around of my junior year, and I pull out my phone because most of the time our phone's out of the room or in our bag. And by the time you go get your phone, the thing's probably already over. This time I had my phone and I recorded it, but like kind of behind my knee so no one would see me. And then the next night at an away wrestling tournament, something happened in a hotel room, and I recorded it then too. And I thought I was gonna get caught, but I didn't. And 2 weeks later, then I told my dad like, "Hey, I don't know what to do with this. I was afraid to bring this up to you because I don't want anything to happen to me, or my brother." And I was like, what can you do? And so that's when the whole situation started to happen with the police and stuff.
Got it. Got it. Um, we have a case here, Ursuline High School, which is kind of what prompted us to do this hazing special, sexual assault hazing on a team trip for the football team, a local high school football team. And the term got brought up multiple times, boys being boys. Was that used in this case here?
Yep. Yep.
And in any world, is this boys being boys?
No.
No. Well, I mean, first of all, it's last time I checked, it's kind of illegal to do something like that. And so you can say, oh, it's boys being boys. Some of these kids were legal adults. So they're not really, boys to the law. And last time I checked, if that happened in like a news station workplace, oh, it's just guys being guys. Like, no, like, it's just insane.
And insane is yeah, it's one of the many words. Um, you stopped wrestling, Ryder, because of this, right? Like, did you quit your junior year, or when did you?
I did. I quit at the end of junior year after I placed in state.
Okay, and it took the love away. Why did you quit?
Yeah, it took the love away. The trusted coaches that we had known became close with, 10 years prior. Um, we we couldn't trust them anymore. Like, these are the people that parents send their freshmen, kids to be like, hey, go join the wrestling team. This stuff happens. They don't know about it, and everybody else is trying to hide it. And I just couldn't stand the injustice going on, and nothing was done about it.
What about you, Ryder? How long did you? Are you still at Liberty? Rex, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, right.
No, I don't wrestle at Liberty. I quit the same time as Ryder, so end of my
Got
freshman.
it. Got it. Okay. Um, there are not many victims in sports hazing cases who are willing to put their faces out there like you guys are. So I want to commend you for your courage and your bravery for doing this. But why did you guys decide to put a face to this? Why did you feel it was so important?
Something needed to be done. Like Ryder said, there was injustice, and these coaches that are supposed to protect these kids who can't defend themselves failed doing their job and encouraged the sexual hazing that was going on. So we really felt like we had no one to trust there.
And it took a while because we didn't, show our faces to the whole thing or put a face to it until, this year, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Because we just, we were still afraid of what, people would do to us. And like, yeah, it was a lot, but I'm glad we did it, you know. Yeah.
Are you getting backlash? Are you still getting repercussions?
Oh yeah, online on social media, like person to person interactions all the time. Yeah.
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 Wow.
At the gym, like everywhere, like Walmart. My parents are getting absolutely like a ton of backlash on social media.
Yeah. Like all these parents online are saying that we're liars and we're just making this up because we never made varsity, which is not true because we both placed in state. And they just want to protect their program so their kids can do well, get college scholarships, and all that crap.
Which is funny because their kids were the ones that were
exactly
doing the hazing, the sexual hazing, all that stuff.
so they're yeah, and it's hard to not defend ourselves, but that's when we just trust, and that's when we just put trust in God and our lawyer and our parents and stuff like that.
If you could change it, would you go back and not say anything, or no? You're absolutely feel like you're doing the right thing, and you do it again.
Yeah, I do it again. I do it freshman year. I
Yeah.
do it. I really wish I did. I really wish I also recorded more because I mean I thought those two videos were enough, but clearly they're not, which is it's unbelievable.
I understand the police have reopened the investigation. Have they talked to you guys yet? Because I believe I thought I read that they had never talked to you.
Yeah, they have never talked to us.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they did talk to the people, the perpetrators, but never talked to the victims.
Yeah.
Like that's weird. Like in any other scenario, like let's say a girl was raped. Oh, let's not talk to her. Let's talk to this person. Of course, he's going to deny it.
Right.
Yeah.
Does this give you a little bit of hope at all, though, that they've reopened it, the coach is on leave, that maybe some accountability and justice will happen, or are you still kind of skeptical?
I would say it gives us a little bit of hope that I think the school system specifically, Liberty, is they're freaking out. They're trying to hide it with as much power as they can. They're trying to lie about it. And obviously there are like other people that have been coming forward that haven't like come to the police or anything yet, but they have other proof too. So there's some hope.
Okay, so there's the wheels are in motion here, and hopefully things will get to get worked out. What is your main objective for this? What do you hope happens here?
I think the coaches need to be held accountable. I think everyone at like the school, like the athletic director, everybody who's trying to cover this up, and trying to say it's okay. I think they all need to be held accountable. And
I think they need to be removed from the school, like all the coaches, even the AD and the principal, because they know about this and they're trying to hide it because Liberty Wrestling is the second biggest wrestling program in the state, and they're trying to keep their reputation, especially with our football team, which is really good. But they need to be removed, and all these parents online, they need to apologize for shaming our name. And yeah, that's what
they need to be held accountable.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you guys are aware. Is it sickening to see cases continue to pop up? You got Rutgers is in the news now just within the last week or so, but sickening to see these cases continue to pop up over and over.
Yeah, it is sickening, but that's one of the other reasons why we chose to spoke up is to give other kids hope, because I'm sure this is happening all across the country where nothing is being done because no one's speaking up, because no one has courage, right? And so that's what we wanted to do, is to give hope to other kids who feel like they don't have a voice.
That's a great point, Ryder. Yeah, some other kids may see this, see what you guys are doing, and say, you know what, I need to stand up for myself here too. Yeah. Justin, I know you're back there. Is there anything that you would like to add? How proud are you of your two boys here?
There's probably a ton that I could add, but I don't want to detract from, this is only our story in the sense that we are family. And my sons, we have 4 sons, and they are amazing young men. But they are, they're my family. And so what affects them positively or negatively affects their mom and me. I think the only thing that would come to mind is, and I've been experiencing this for 2 years, and the victim shaming is off the charts. I've been called a pedophile on social media by full name, which is bizarre that you would shame the parents. I notice the parents are taking more of the shame from other parents. It's bizarre, and I don't really understand the boys will be boys mentality. Is it still boys being boys if the victim is a girl? And is there an age limit? Like, is it 17 years old and 10? Is that still boys being boys? Is it 10-year-old and 10-year-old? Where's the line? You can't really say that it's boys being boys, but then simultaneously say that it didn't happen. And that's what's being said. They're saying on one side, they're saying, well, that never happened. And yet they're also saying that it's just boys being boys. What's the problem? What that's just, like boys catching, boys throwing a firecracker in a toilet in the commode, or doing donuts out in the intersection. Boys being boys. I did not send my sons to any wrestling practice, any club, any high school practice over the last 12 years to do anything other than get better at wrestling. No 50 Shades of Grey kind of BS. I'm not into that. I'm not saying, listen, homosexual erotica type of stuff, whatever. keep that in your hotel room, keep that, that's on them. But it's like Ryder said earlier, what was going on is not just illegal, it has nothing to do with the sport. And it has nothing, it has nothing to do, not just with the sport, it has nothing to do with anything, why we're in a history class or at work or in the park
Yeah.
or anything. It has its own place. Sexual activity of any kind, heterosexual, homosexual, anything, has nothing to do with the sport of wrestling, in this case, wrestling, or at anything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if somebody wanted to do that, they should have done that on their own, at home, whatever. That's a big, very confusing, but real sore spot with me as a parent. Because when I give my sons over to the wrestling coaches, I am not allowed to be there to ensure their protection. By default, their position, not just as a mandatory reporter, and there were more than sexual hazing, there's physical
Oh,
abuse
there
as
was
well.
physical abuse.
Tons of physical abuse, and there's
It
tons of
was-
video of that as well.
it was-
So I give my sons to their care to ensure that they would watch out for them as if they were their sons. That they failed their duty. They neglected their duty, not just to report, but just to protect. And ideally, these boys, like all the other wrestlers, male or female wrestlers, they should have an amazing experience, whether they're varsity or not. They should have an amazing experience and relationship with one of the most powerful and fantastic relationships in their lives, which is with a coach. In some cases, they're a surrogate dad, so to speak, and they play an important role in a young man or a young woman's life. And my sons missed out on what I actually had a great opportunity and a fantastic experience with both my high school football and wrestling coaches. I still call them coach today, and they're both admirable men. And it's been tough on our family to see my boys go through this, because unlike a lot of sports where it's team sports, individual sports, and in particular wrestling, because unlike golf or tennis or swim, which are all individual sports where your points count for a team, wrestling is a very intense combat, hand-to-hand, combat type sport. And it really brought our family together, traveling over the years to hotels, playing in the hotel pool, going out for pizza afterward, weigh-ins and stuff, whatever, and then our kids. And that was ripped away from us. And for me as a dad to have that understandably ripped away, I mean, I don't fault my sons for quitting, but it was hard to accept that. And there were understandable, but it was hard as a family to navigate these waters. And
Yeah.
so
Well,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
it's definitely hard for one of the other kids that we were friends with when he was on the team, but I just can't imagine what he was going through, because it was much worse than what Rex and I went through. And I mean, with having a brother definitely helped, but it took a toll on our emotional, mental, and physical state, especially when we came home and hung out with family and friends and stuff. And this kid, he didn't have a brother. He had a sister, but she was in college, and he was kind of a depressed kid already. And so you can imagine if something like kept I guess snowballing, and he was just like, I'm done with everything, if you know what I mean, that could have been really bad. And so I don't want that to happen to anybody else.
And you guys mentioned it a little bit. There was physical abuse too. Physical
yeah.
hazing.
Oh yeah, there's this one kid, he was one of the main perpetrators, but the week of sectionals, we were all outside the room getting our shoes on and stuff, And he grabbed the lightweight 106-pound kid by the neck, lifted him up, and pinned him against the wall, the brick wall in the school hallway, while his dad was walking by, and then hit him a couple times because he was mad the other kid was bugging him. His dad walked by, laughed, and said, "Ha, whatever you did, you probably deserve."
Is that dad one of the coaches?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was one of the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you kidding me?
As well as the head coach was right there too.
Yeah, the head coach is right. Like, and that's just one of the things that went on.
Right. Wow. Wow. I can't imagine. I definitely can't
That's-
imagine.
Derek, I did. Our attorney has this information. You know, we submitted. The police have the videos, including whipping.
Right.
There's video whipping with a leather belt. There's all this kind of stuff. So everybody that should have known does know. They have the video evidence to review. The school board now has the videos and some text messages and some photos and stuff like that. From my perspective, this is the last thing I would say is that from my perspective, I have always tried to teach my boys to be good young men and to treat other people respectfully. In particular girls. I feel it's our duty as men to be protectors, among other things, and to do the right thing, always to do the right thing. And I feel that in this case, while nobody alive is perfect, there is one person who was perfect, and that ain't me, right? So that being said, I believe my boys have done the very best that could be expected of them while they were. I mean, Rex was 13 when he first started seeing this, 14 or something, and Ryder first started seeing it, and when he was 14, 15, is there anything more that our society could ask of two teenage boys who are not yet legally adults to endure this and to finally go face to face on local information, local news, national, whatever, and to say this is wrong and I'm standing up to do the right thing because there are other kids that need to be protected. And so if they don't do it, who's going to? Because at this point, this has been going on. There are other parents out there who know that this has been going on in this program for a long time. And because they did nothing, my sons were abused.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Right.
it stops with our family here. This is where it stops.
Yeah.